This is Advice from a Call Center Geek, a weekly podcast with a focus on all things call center. We'll cover it all from call center operations, hiring, culture, technology, and education. We're here to give you actionable items to improve the quality of yours and your customers' experience. This is an evolving industry with creative minds and ambitious people like this guy. Not only is his passion call center operations, but he's our host. He's the CEO of Expedia Interaction Marketing Group and the call center geek himself, Tom Laird.
Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of Advice from a Call Center Geek, the call center and contact center podcast, where we're trying to give you some actionable items, right? We're trying to stay away from theoretical theory and trying to give you some actual plays that you can bring into your contact center, improve the overall quality, improve the customer experience, hopefully improve your agent engagement. How's everybody doing? Happy Tuesday. My name is Tom Laird. I'm the CEO of Expedia Interaction Marketing. We are a 500 to 600 seats, crazy for me to say that, call center outsourcer, USA call center outsourcer located here in northwestern Pennsylvania. Oh man, how's everybody doing? It's funny how I kind of get on topics that I want to talk about on the podcast. So I try to normally kind of think and schedule some things out at least a month in advance. But I don't know, over the last couple weeks, I've been working on a lot of interesting things. And I think I've been talking a lot to the community, the texting community, which I guess that's kind of a cheap plug for it. But if you are interested, we have about almost 200 people that are part of our texting community. And it's basically just where I can give some content. You guys have access to me. We can kind of go back and forth and ask questions and kind of talk call center shop. But if you have any questions or anything that's hurting your organization or anything that you want help with that you think I could help with, I'm kind of a one text away. All you need to do with that is just text call center to 814-247-0366 and that'll get you set up. But anyway, I've had a lot of questions that have come through that texting community that have sparked a lot of things. We're also working with some clients and setting up reporting. And so it kind of got me, I had a couple questions on reporting. I had a couple emails on, reporting, and even working with this client on, again, reporting. I thought I'd do a quick show here to kind of talk about, I guess, 5 of my favorite reports. Now, you really need to be a call center nerd to be into this, right? But I guess that's what's cool about this is we're all kind of, if you're listening to this right now, you're a pretty hardcore call center person, which is kind of awesome. Our niche has been with you guys. So again, this is for the real hardcore person or somebody maybe who's starting out and is like, what reports do I need? So I don't want to talk about real-time stuff. We've kind of talked about widgets and, things looking at real-time dashboards. And if you're interested in that, we did a full episode on, how your dashboard should look and setting up your dash. But so I guess this is more of the historical reporting and some things that I like to look at. The cool thing about the platform that we have is we have Nice in Contact, as you guys know, and one of their tools is called InView. And on InView, basically, I can set up a dashboard. So I have a dashboard of all of our clients that just doesn't have the normal, I guess, widgets of real-time reporting, but we can kind of have real-time historical graphs and charts that are constantly updating. So we kind of stay on top of things, or at least I can stay on top from a really high level. And then obviously it's the workforce management guys that are getting granular. But for me to kind of look at a snapshot kind of throughout the day, or at least at the beginning of the day, the end of the day, to kind of see where things are at, I'm pretty good at spotting issues before they happen. That's kind of what I get paid for. So here are my top 5 favorite historical reports, ones that I have up really at all times, that I think give me a good feel for where we are from a client standpoint and a call center standpoint. So number 1 is everybody has to have a daily summary report, right? And this needs to come out every single day. Whether you're an internal call center, you probably have it. If you don't, you need to set one up, right? It's not good enough to just, be able to make adjustments during the game, right? Which is kind of looking at the real-time stuff, but it's also, you also need to kind of look at film, right? Or look at the stuff after the fact, which is kind of how the numbers all came out throughout the day. and then make some adjustments based on that. So what do I have in my daily summary? Well, for the most part, I like to include incoming calls and handle calls right next to each other, right? So we want to see everything that came in, and then, what did we actually handle or what did we actually take? The next column, I like to have the abandons, right? So that should pretty close to add up, with the calls that are offered. I do this by skill as well. I probably should have said that. So each skill gets their own daily summary for each client. So next will be our service level, right? So the service level for that skill. And then our average speed of answer, which should correlate pretty directly with the service level. And then we get into handle time, right? So we want to see what's the average handle time. I know pretty much what we should be at for all of our clients. So this way I can kind of get a feel for what's going on from a talk time or handle time, or if there's any kind of anomalies that I can kind of see. The other kind of stat that I like to put on here is our longest delay, right? And longest delay basically means the longest call that was in queue for the day. Now you got to be careful with this sometimes, because if you don't have it set up right, you could maybe get your longest queue outside of when you're staffed, right? So let's say you log out at 8:00 at night and there's still a call in there and it goes till 10 and your longest delay is like 2 hours. Well, it's not a really good sign. Maybe it is. Maybe you want to see how many calls are coming in afterward, but I think there's some better ways to do that. But I like to look at the longest delay just to see if that will tell me if we have a bad interval, right? So without looking at a report, and I can see a longest delay, even if our service level is really good, longest delay is going to tell me, well, you know what? There's probably something going on here from at least one of our intervals. We're not staffed appropriately, or we're not as efficient as we should be. So longest delay is kind of a cool number for me to just to kind of real quickly be able to tell if I should dig deeper. All right, so that's kind of a daily summary. Again, it's straight to the point. It's basic, but it gives you all the information you need to see if you need to dig deeper, right? That's kind of really all it is. It's kind of takes the temperature of the program, make sure everything's going okay. And if not, it'll tell you if you need to dig deeper on the agent side, or if you need to dig deeper maybe on your staffing side. All right, the other report that I really like, and I guess it's, for me, because I'm not doing workforce management every single day, I love these kind of snapshot reports, which is just really a monthly volume trend, right? And basically all it is the every single day and a chart that shows what the call volume was. And again, I'm a visual person more than I am really a number person. I can get into Excel spreadsheets, but the visual aspect of it really helps me, and I think it helps a lot of people, and especially if you're newer. So we can, workforce management is going to tell me if there's trends, and they're going to be making adjustments. But for me to be able to see things and to actually see the call volume going up or going down, or certain days of the week that we're lulling, or certain days of the week we're really heavy, I think is important. So it's a report that I have up for all of our clients that I think is really important. The one that kind of digs deeper into it, and kind of the third report that I like which is I just call our interval trend report. So basically, this is a super cool report that basically takes all of the call volume, right, that we're doing by interval. We normally do an hour interval. Some clients like it by half hour, but some are actually 15 minutes. But for the most part, for me, for the reports that I'm looking at hour intervals, right? So I'm looking at 7 to 8, 8 to 9, 9 to 10, 10 to 11, 11 to 12. You get the point, right? And we're looking at what the volume is for those intervals, if there is a definite pattern to that. And then what I like to do as well is add service level to the intervals, right? So we can see that if we have a lunchtime issue at 1:00, because call volume goes from 150 calls to 320 calls for that interval, we know that we need to make some big adjustments when it comes to lunches. And again, our workforce management is going to do that, but a lot of you guys that don't have a robust workforce management, this is the stuff that you need to be looking at, right? You need to see, wow, you know what? Call volume really has gone up as a trend over the last, and I like to do it for 3 months, right? For the last 3 months. And our intervals are a little out of whack with our staffing, because service level every single day at 1:00 is going down to 22%, and it's back up to 87% in the next interval. So maybe we need to even some of those out, right? So pretty cool report that can do that. The other two reports that I really like that I have up are my agent occupancy report, which is important for all of us. And I get a lot of questions. Should we be looking at occupancy by program or by skill, or should we be looking at occupancy by agent? And the answer is yes, right? And I think it's all of the above, right? And they're all going to correlate to each other because that's kind of how that works. I mean, I think that makes sense, but I like to really, look at and sometimes, to be honest, I'll have that in my daily summary, depending on, for us, how we bill, right? And a lot of times if occupancy is a really important piece of our billing or our service level, but they all correlate. That's why I don't put it on there all the time, because I know if service level's good or within a kind of certain number, I know that our occupancy is good as well. I guess I've just been getting good at it. But you probably, if you're newer, should have occupancy on your daily summary as well. And remember, occupancy is basically the time that a rep is in a working state, and that can change depending on how you do it. But basically, it's the amount of time that they're logged in, kind of taking calls, right? Not available, right? Available time is going to be negative towards our occupancy, but it's actually working, right? So logged in, working on an actual physical call. And then we can have a discussion if after call work should be or shouldn't be included in that. But however you want to do that for your organization. I like to look at it for each program, look at the agent occupancy. We have a leaderboard or a dashboard that kind of shows that. And then I do that in the morning to kind of talk when I have the supervisor meetings. And when I talk to our OIC, our officer in charge, and have them kind of, look at some of the reps. And then, the last thing that I like to look at every single day is our agent and especially our agent and also our customer sentiment reports, right? I don't think they're as important to look at every single day. The agent one is the customer sentiment report through analytics. That can go a little bit longer. Daily's really probably not something I'm totally looking at, but I'm looking at the agent sentiment reports and the individual agent sentiment reports. So I can know if there's an issue right away, who needs to be trained, what am I going to talk to, who are we going to discuss kind of in our morning meeting, that type of thing. So those are my, I guess, 5 favorite reports, right? And I think if everybody has a little bit different take on this, but for me, I'm looking at the overall program, right? All the skills, kind of that full campaign, those key metrics, those key efficiency KPIs. And then I'm looking over a longer period of time to make sure that we're trending in the right way and that staffing is going the right way, right? And then we're going to kind of drill down and make sure that over the long period of time, each interval is doing good, right? And we're staffed appropriately for each of those. And then the last thing is I want to kind of drill down more on the agent level. The agent for me is a little bit less important than the macro. I mean, that's really getting into the micro where more the supervisors, that's kind of their deal. So I don't really, dig deep into handle time, dig deep. And you probably should, right? So, if you're a 40-seat call center and you're the call center manager, those are things that you're going to want to see. I'm going to talk to my supervisors about that, and I'm going to be able to tell if they're out of whack because of occupancy and because of some of those things. Every once in a while, I will definitely pull a handle report, a handle time report based on the agents, especially if we see that service level was lower. Maybe our calls per position or the amount of calls that we should take for an hour are off, right? And that's probably going to correlate to handle time. But a lot of times, my supervisors kind of will let me know ahead of time, hey, we had some crazy things happen. Handle time is going to be a little bit off. So again, as long as I'm looking at it at that macro level and I feel like the handle time's good, I'm going to let the supervisors really drill down to that micro level and make sure that each of the reps are within the proper KPI for that. So that's what I got, guys. Again, that was just on my mind. I thought that could be helpful. Some of the reporting, it seems like there's a lot of report questions. I may dig deeper into some of these, really, almost have a full episode on a summary report, what those KPIs are, what are some of the other things that you may want to put into there. I'll see what the feedback is on this episode and if you guys would like anything more. So again, thank you guys very much. The only thing I'm going to ask again is if you can please post a review, especially on iTunes. That will really help get the word out, and helps kind of boost, what we're doing here. Again, we already talked about the texting community. Be more than happy. Love to have as many of you guys join that as possible. And also there's the Advice from a Call Center Geek Facebook community as well. Check that out. Thanks, guys. I'll talk to you guys probably in a couple of days. I'm kind of been on a roll with the episode. So I know I already have one for this week. This was kind of I guess a bonus episode. So probably talk to you Thursday, Friday.